Good morning. Welcome back. All the familiar names. It's like, we've just been away for a while, but it's good to be back. Fresh, I hope. Well, at least I'm very fresh. So, yeah, welcome back to you all. Okay, good. Sound is good. Good. Yes, thanks, Clive. Okay, so here we are. Guessing a lot has changed, and yet nothing has changed. We're back into our Dharma hole, ready to start a new season. We're getting mostly like Netflix here, meditation season. I don't know what. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for your consistent practice. We are starting the season back with Christine Kupfer. Good morning, Christine. Welcome back.
Good morning, George. Welcome, everyone.
Well, most of you probably know already Christine. She's been teaching with us for a while now. But just to wrap this presentation, Christine has been meditating for many years. It's the core of her practice. She engaged in Zen as a young adult, looking for who she really was. And she later on completed a postgraduate degree in Buddhist psychology and mindfulness-based psychotherapy at the Karuna Institute in the UK. She met Martin Aylward in 2016 and trained with him as a mindfulness teacher. And she lives with a family in Geneva, Switzerland. She has been teaching meditation and supporting people on their spiritual and personal journey for over 2 decades now. I'll let you have Christine's website link at the end. So we'll be roughly here for an hour or so. And for this month, we have again constant theme. And constant is the word because it's navigating constant change, which in few words is like, embracing impermanence. Like everything has changed, nothing has changed. Okay, so just to remind you, and yes, of course, if you're here for the first time, there might be someone coming here for the first time. We feel especially welcome if that's the case. In this time we'll be here together, Christine will guide. We'll do a short talk. Will guide us into a silent meditation, a silent practice, and then there will be some time for Q&A. For the Q&A, you can either ask your questions in the chat box. If you do so, please type question in capital letters so we can differentiate that from the comments and the goodwill appreciations that you post so nicely. If you want to be on screen, you have a little digital hand on the bottom of your screen. Click on that and I will invite you on screen. You will show up like we are now on the side, and you can then interact with Christine. Last thing, as usual, is the Dana speech. I won't be very, very long with it. It's been already quite a while since I've been talking. So just to remind you that all this gathering, this virtual Dharma hall, all these sessions in the morning, the Sunday sessions, everything we do, the Connect platform, everything is offered freely. This is the basic ruling principle of the Sangha Life organization basis. We want to bring Dharma to as many people as possible. We want people to come as much as they can. So the only way to do this is, going through a process of sharing, of interconnecting without that basic capitalistic principle of paying for something. This is not a service. It is a service that we're all rendering to each other, but it's not something we view or engage into as a trading. It's more like a sharing. So the teachers, we all at Sangha Life, we share our time. The teachers share their experience, their wisdom, and in return, we just want you to enjoy this and appreciate this and take the best out of it. And if you can share something, donate something so that we can keep this platform running, because it's freely offered but not free of cost. Far from that, there's a lot of costs involved. Then all for the best. Doesn't matter if it's a huge amount or a short amount. Doesn't really matter if it's regular or if it's a one-off. It all matters, but what really matters is the heartfelt way you do that, as a token of appreciation, of participating. So feel free to do that. Have a nice chat with your finance department, with your pocket, with your partners, with whoever, with your bank, and donate as you feel. During this week, everything that you donate will be shared with Christine, of course. And if you can't donate anything, well, all good. You're here. That's the most important thing. That's why we're all here, so that we can be here all together. Okay, enough. I'll just mute myself and leave the stage to Christine. Thank you all again. Welcome back and enjoy this as much as you can. Be present. Thank you.
So, hello, friends. Hello again. Happy to be with you today and this week for our daily meditations. And thank you, George, for your presentation. Thank you for being here and organizing everything so that it all works. So let me start. Let me introduce this talk by telling you that I didn't choose this topic, as George just said. And actually, before George told me to wait a while longer before thinking about a topic for these morning meditations, because Sangha Live was thinking about choosing a topic that would be the same for all the teachers during the month of September. Before that, I was thinking about something completely different. So actually, this topic, navigating constant change, at first felt disappointing to me. The topic I really wanted to talk about was love. But then I thought that considering my history with change and sudden change in the past years, I am probably experienced enough to talk about constant change and impermanence. Yeah, everything arises and disappears. I get impermanence. So I thought that my experience would do the trick. But in the beginning, when I was starting to recollect my thoughts, my mind didn't cooperate. Not at all. This topic, constant change, brought up a lot of resistance in me. I couldn't get myself to do the work of really deepening into the subject and make it mine. It was as if I was staying on the surface of things, on the conceptual level. So finally, I inquired into the resistance to try to find out what the resistance was about. And then I knew why I was resisting. My reluctance to deepen into the subject was because of my personal history with impermanence. There have been great losses in my life lately. And when there is loss, grief is involved. I understood that the resistance I felt was a sort of self-protection. I wanted to distract myself from thinking about this. I didn't want to look into what felt like a black hole. I didn't want to feel the messy emotions. And I believe that many of our stories with impermanence happen along this line. We don't want to think about it. We push the emotions away. We hold on to more pleasant stuff. The everyday story of our life goes along this line. We are doing pretty well with our life. Things are pretty much in control. We're not exempt of challenges, of course, but we're okay. There maybe is a certain sense of ease. We aren't suffering so much. Then, suddenly, boom, something happens. Something that changes everything, that shakes us up. We lose our job, or we lose our health, or a loved one dies, or a war breaks out, and we lose our ground, we lose our footing. We all know this. It has happened to us all if we've been around for a while. Or we know that it will happen sometime soon, and we dread it. Things we love come and go. Situations we love come and go. Pets and people come and go. And one day, and we don't know when, we too will go. We all have a story to tell about change and the difficulty of taking it in. In my case, the last big events of the kind were my mother died a little more than a year ago. And even though I feel today at peace with her death, it still feels like a very intimate place to visit and talk about. My mother and I were very close. And although I can feel still now the loving connection with her, I miss her. I miss her strength. I miss her beauty. I miss her creativity. I miss her joy and the incredible positive outlook on life she had. It also feels like a responsibility somehow, a responsibility to love life as much as she did, a responsibility to live my life fully. And second, over the past years, I've had to learn to live with my husband's illness, which is changing my life. And of course, especially his. Many of you know about this from other times when I talked about it on Sangha Live, if you were here. My husband is very ill. He has a kidney disease. He is fragile, has very little immunity, so he is vulnerable to all the viruses and diseases that are around. His health situation will lead him, we're not sure when, but the doctors say soon, to dialysis, which means he will have to clean his blood 3 or 4 times a week on a machine. So yeah, navigating constant change and navigating with the uncertainty it generates. So this is my story, but we all have a story to tell about constant change, because this is how reality works. This is what the Buddha called the first mark of existence, anicca in Pali. Impermanence. Nothing is really solid and reliable. Everything changes all the time. Things arise, they have their moment of expression, of realization, and then they disappear. Even though we know this intellectually and from experience, somehow this truth is difficult to integrate. To navigate change, constant change, harmoniously, the first thing is to really face up to what is happening. In the title, Navigating Constant Change, I like the word navigating because I visualize a vessel navigating the seas. And sometimes the weather is good, and sometimes the weather is rough. And if we are this vessel navigating the seas, we need to be very much and continuously aware of what is happening. We need to see very clearly the weather, inner and outer weather, and what it implies. We need to know the tides, the undercurrents. We need to know the forces at play. And we also need some practical tools, some know-how to repair possible damages and breakdowns. So navigating the seas of life We might dream of constant good weather. But the truth is we need to face up to what is, not what should be. This formula, what is, not what should be, can be used as a sort of mantra. It comes from a 20th century Indian sage called Swami Prajnanpad. One of his central teachings was to emphasize the importance of accepting reality as it is, without being trapped by illusions or expectations of how we think reality should be like. This is very much linked to what the Buddha taught. We need to see things clearly. In Buddhism, we call this clear seeing, vipassana in Pali. This term often translates as insight. It refers to the deep experiential understanding of the true nature of reality, especially in terms of impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta, the three marks of existence. Clear seeing, direct perception of how things truly are, beyond the superficial understanding or appearance. So let's continue now by doing a little inquiry to help us see the process of change in our life in a personal and related way. So the purpose of the inquiry is to see and explore how change manifests in your experience. And after that, we'll transition into formal meditation. So for this inquiry, find a comfortable position. Lying down if you wish, or sitting if you wish, or whatever position is comfortable for you. So for this inquiry, I will ask you 4 questions. I will tell them to you now before we start. So the first question will be, what changes have you noticed in your life over the past week, month, or year? The second question is, how do you usually feel about these changes? Do they bring up feelings of excitement, fear, resistance, or acceptance? Third question, can you think of a time when you resisted change? What was the outcome? How did it feel? And the last question is, conversely, can you recall a time when you embraced change? What did you learn from that experience? So let's start. Please find a comfortable position. and bring to mind your life as it is right now. First question: what changes have you noticed in your life over the past week, month, or year? So perhaps the change is more obvious. Perhaps it is more subtle. And take some time to let your thoughts, memories, reflections about this topic arise. What changes have you noticed in your life over the past week, month, or year? Second question: how do you usually feel about these changes? Do they bring up feelings of excitement, fear, resistance, acceptance, or any other feeling? Allow the feelings to arise. Just noticing. Third question: can you think of a time when you resisted change? And what was the outcome? How did it feel? And if something arises to your mind when you resisted change, sense into the resistance. Sense into the resistance to know directly how it impacts you. Fourth question: conversely, can you recall a time when you embraced change? Don't think too much. Let the memory arise naturally. A time when you embraced change. What did you learn? Or what do you learn from that experience? Perhaps as you recall the memory, you can sense into direct knowledge of how that felt, embracing change. So now we're going to take a moment to come out of this inquiry and transition into meditation. But before we transition, you can stretch a little and perhaps have a drop of something to drink. And find your position, settle into your position for meditation. So for this meditation, we will simply notice change through the arising and passing of our breath. We'll notice the flow of change without reacting. So this meditation is based on the Satipatthana Sutra, the instructions of mindfulness of breath. So here we go. So your eyes can be open or closed, or half open. Your hands on your lap or in the cosmic mudra, which is the right hand down, the other on top, thumbs lightly touching each other. This is how I learned to meditate in the Zen tradition. Hands right in front of your lower belly, pushing it lightly in your lower belly. But your hands can be where you wish, where it is comfortable for you. Your shoulders open, your chest open. And if any time during the meditation you feel some pain, simply move, aware of how you are adjusting your posture. It's not a problem. So let's settle in our bodies. Sensing the settling process. If you sense some agitation, restlessness, nervousness, you may want to try to take 3 deep breaths. In breath through your nose, out breath through your mouth. And with the out breath, letting it all go. And settling back into the body. Sensing the settling process as we drop down into the lower part of our body. Settling is about relaxing. So let's relax our face, the skin of our face, our eyes, simply resting in their sockets, relaxing our jaws, relaxing our neck, our shoulders, relaxing our back, our arms, our hands, our fingers, relaxing our belly and our lower belly, and relaxing our legs all the way down to our feet. So this relaxation is not drowsiness. We are at ease as much as possible in the body and alert. Arriving fully into our body right here. Our mind is alert and our attention is at rest. And so let's let our breath settle gently on our breath. Noticing how it comes and goes. It comes and goes. Constantly changing. Breathing in, we know that we are breathing in. Breathing in, we know that we are breathing out. We know. We don't have to put any effort in this. This knowing quality is already here. Breathing in, we know that we are breathing in. Breathing out, we know that we are breathing out. We don't try to change anything. Simply this direct knowing. In and out. Coming and going. In and out. knowing deeply, enjoying, breathing in, enjoying, breathing out, enjoying, and when our thoughts drift us away, as soon as we notice this, we can gently bring our attention back to our breath, using it as an anchor. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Knowing how it is when we let go of all thoughts, all projects. Knowing how it is when we are simply resting on the wave. Constant change is natural. Right here, we can rest on the naturalness of the wave of breath, constantly changing. always in flux. Like a river, bathing in the river of our breath. Enjoying it. And for the last minute of meditation, see if it is possible to rest, completely rest on the wave of breath, one with the in breath and the out breath. May we all know the ease and miracle of embracing constant change. So we have a few minutes for sharing experiences, insights, and ask questions if you wish. You can express yourself in the chat. And if you have a question, please write it in capital letters so that I can find it. Oops. There's a problem with the sound. Sorry for it. I'm back. But I hear an echo. So I see a question here. Could you just tell me if you hear the echo? Can you hear me? Okay, so I think we should stop here for today and maybe answer the questions tomorrow. Sorry. I think the echo is gone, but
yeah, and your again with just one image, so that's fine.
Okay. It suddenly went out for some reason.
Okay, good.
Well, I guess maybe I could read the comments and the questions and answer tomorrow, or talk about that tomorrow. Because I see we just have 1 minute. And so, yes, wishing you all a good day, peaceful day in the flow of change, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Sorry about this glitch at the end.